Your information station. WTIM.
It's the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You can find the streams on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube at WTIM TV. In studio right now, I have school board candidate and vice president of the Taylorville School Board of Education, Dr. Ron Miser. Great to have you here, and Dr. Miser.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
So tell me a little bit about your experience on the school board and why. Let's start there. Tell me about your experience.
Okay, I've been on the school board twice. I've been involved with all four of the past four superintendents, by the way, not very long with Dr. Firstino because of just about a year. But I've been involved because I believe in education. I just think it's so important that our kids get a good education for life, and if they're going on to college, that they get the proper education so they're not behind everybody else when they go to college.
When was your first term on school board?
I replaced a person who moved, and I was asked by the school board, and Dr. Bundy asked me if I would be on, and I said yes. I knew him, and he said, you'll have to run if you do. And of course, then I did, and I ran a number of times. My kids were in school, and then all of a sudden we're getting ready to build a science wing, and I thought, I'll run one more time because I want to be there while we're doing something positive. So I ran an extra time there.
When was this?
This would have been back in 1979 all the way through 1997. So about 18 years or so, 19 years on there. Yes.
Wow. That's quite the tenure. What drew you away from the school board for?
Well, I figured that I'd had my time and let somebody else be there.
Mm-hmm.
And I stayed off until very recently when there was a little bit of a problem over in Stonington, and one of the guys dropped off. And so I asked Dr. Bundy or Dr. Firstino, I said, if you want somebody to come on there for a year, I'll fill out the rest of it. And he said, well, thank you, because I knew him. I went on, and my thought was just to fill that up for 6 months or so. But what happened was that almost everybody on the board retired and didn't run, and there wasn't anybody to run. And I thought, well, I don't want to leave you out there in the cold. So I ran unopposed.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've served these 4 years.
Mm-hmm. And so the last 4 years, essentially.
Yes.
So I'm adding about 22 years worth of school board education experience.
Yes.
Wow. I guess, how would you characterize the journey that you've been on through those separated 22 years of school board, and also being 4 years as vice president, or 2 years as vice president? I beg your pardon.
2 years of vice president now. Yeah.
Anyway, how would you characterize that journey?
Well, it's been something. When I was on the first time, we did a consolidation study, and I was one of the two people from Taylorville that was on there. Dale McNeely was also a previous board president, and that was quite an event. We brought in Stonington and Mount Auburn into our school district. As it turned out, when we did our consolidations, after the consolidation study, money that we received from the state of Illinois gave us some extra money, and that allowed us to build a science wing. And I thought, well, I better stay on another 4 years to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an experience I've had. And then, of course, recently, we've had to hire a new superintendent. Dr. Firstino went over to Litchfield, and so I was involved in superintendent search for the second time, and that's quite a chore to do. And and then in the meantime, we have enough money now to build an auditorium, and we started on an auditorium, and maybe we have enough here for sports complex too, and special ed and Tommy TV. Hopefully we can put this all together. I'm very hopeful of that.
I want to talk a lot more about that specifically. First, tell me, and I think it kind of feeds in a little bit here, but tell me a little bit about this cycle, why you decided to run again.
Well, first of all, nobody was running. So I wasn't going to leave the superintendent out in the cold.
Mhm.
And so I said, okay, I'll run again. Besides, I'm retired. I've got, when you have kids in school, you can't make a lot of things because they're doing things and what have you. I know that some of our school board members who have kids in school, they're not there. They come in late. They can't make it this day because their kids playing, and all that kind of stuff. So I have all kinds of time now. So if there's something that needs to be done during the day, the superintendent wants my advice or something. She says, can you come in this afternoon? I need to talk to somebody. I can come in and do that. I have a lot of time on my hand now to do that. And plus I got the experience in I've been there, done that, and it really kind of helps.
Mm-hmm. When did you first come to Taylorville, or have you always been a resident of Taylorville?
Almost. I came to Taylorville after World War II. And my dad went to work at the paper mill. And so I went through our school system. I was in the second grade, so I went all the way through our school system. Played in sports. I was in basketball and baseball on team, and was in the band and the orchestra. Very much in the band and orchestra.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm still in the band. I'm in the municipal band now.
Oh yeah, it just goes to show you've been part of Taylorville for a very long time, and you are not necessarily a doctor in education, though you are pretty much commensurate with the experience, right? But
you're not a doctorate, but you have
right.
a doctor. You have a doctor of dental jurisprudence.
Yeah, and so that's kind of an interesting mesh of expertise, if you will. You have the dentistry that you are retired from, and also the education experience. I guess if you would help me understand a little bit, like, I guess, how do they, if there are any characteristics that kind of mesh?
There certainly is.
I'd love to hear them.
And I'll give you this one right off the get-go. When I went to the University of Illinois, my freshman year, it was very, very difficult. And I found out that my background in Taylorville had not quite prepared me. We didn't have some of the advanced zoology and advanced chemistry and physics that the schools in Chicago had. And it took me a year to get caught up, and luckily I did, but it was very, very difficult. So when I got on the school board, I worked very hard along with Dr. Giovanali to put more science classes in so that our kids were not at a disadvantage when they went to college. Mm-hmm. And they're not now. Of course, we have Lincoln Land out here now. We didn't have Lincoln Land back then. But it's very important that they have a good background to go to school. We don't want kids flunking out because you didn't take zoology or you didn't take physics or chemistry or calculus or something. Mm-hmm. We need all those courses.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Education is, after all, everything that you do. And really quickly, you alluded to it earlier. We are going to head into a timeout, but I think this is a good opportunity to kind of give an overview of the Fine Arts Complex and Fine Arts and Sports Complex. Where are we on that right now before we kind of get into a little bit more into the weeds of it before we head into a timeout?
Well, my understanding is that we have some money available and to look into an auditorium, and it may be even a little bit more money beyond the auditorium. And I know when it looked like we had more than enough to do that, I know the sports people would like something also. I mean, this is a sports town. And so they've been involved also. So now we hired an architect and a builder, and we've been working with them to try to come up with a plan where we can put both of these things together. And they have done a design which we hoped was going to work. It was a beautiful design. We have pretty much what we want, not everything we want, but pretty much at least what we need. The sports people got what they needed. We were able to build a 4-unit special ed and keep Tommy TV. In other words, we can put this all together. What happened though was that when we put this out for bids, what's happening to inflation right now. It's beyond our means to do this. And so what now we've had to do is scale back and find out, what can we finally do with the money we have.
And that's the status of that project as of right now. I'm going to ask you a little bit more about that after this short timeout. That's Dr. Ron Miser. He's the vice president of the Taylorville School Board of Education. He's running for re-election, and the consolidated election is April 4th. That is April 4th. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first.
WTIM.
Thank you for listening to this Miller Media Group radio station. We appreciate you making the choice to tune in to us. We want to remind you of some things to keep the attorneys happy. Our stations allow one winner per household in a 30-day period. Cash prizes are mailed to our winners within 30 days of winning. And as you've probably already guessed, portions of today's programming on this Miller Media Group radio station were pre-recorded and are mechanically or digitally reproduced. Are the attorneys happy? Thanks again for listening to this Miller Media Group station.
People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, are proud to continue their long-standing sponsorship of honoring Taylorville High School Students of the Month on WTIM's many platforms on AM, FM, and streamed online, and on WMKR Genuine Country 94.3.
Hi, my name is Bix Vira. My parents are Kristen and Joe Vira. I go to Taylorville High School and I am on the tennis team and photography club. I like art, tennis, and weightlifting, and my future plans are to go to college for art or graphic design, and I am in my church youth group.
People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, salutes these great Taylorville High School students on this honor and wish them the best in their future. People's Bank and Trust, member FDIC.
Angels Among Us. I'm Rose Ruhal at Visiting Angels. Our mission is to put seniors first, prioritizing the safety, security, and personal well-being of each and every client in our care. I'm excited to bring our services to Christian and Shelby counties. Click our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com for Visiting Angels, providing the care seniors and veterans deserve.
Visiting Angels, America's choice in home care.
It's a first in the Taylorville automotive market. With your purchase of a new or pre-owned vehicle at Landmark of Taylorville, you will get at no extra charge our Landmark of a lifetime powertrain warranty. General Sales Manager Bill Pinkston here to thank you for your business in 2022. And for our way of saying thanks is to offer you a lifetime powertrain warranty on our new and pre-owned vehicles we sell. You will have peace of mind when you buy from Landmark for a lifetime. Come by and see my friendly staff for specific details. And remember,
You always do better at Landmark.
Hi, this is Andrea Bach from the Christian County YMCA, where it's all about youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. Find out about our great programs and activities at your local YMCA by clicking our icon on the obituary page of TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
I'm Rose Ruhal, owner of your local Visiting Angels office. We're now offering personalized in-home care to Christian and Shelby counties. Find out more by clicking our icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
Your information station, WTIM.
It's the WTIM Morning Show. I'm Avery Cooper, your host. Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville. You always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. I have school board candidate and current vice president of the Taylorville School Board of Education, Dr. Ron Miser, in studio. He's running for re-election as part of the April 4th consolidated election. 7 candidates are up for school board spots this year. Only 4 will take the school board. Dr. Miser, before heading into break, we gave a little bit of an overview of the Fine Arts and Sports Complex and where we're at with that right now. At your last city or school board meeting, there was a vote to start the demolition of the East Wing. You voted no on that demolition. Tell me a little bit about why.
Well, of course, you're referring to as East Wing. That happened to be my brand new junior high when I went out there in 1951. We thought originally that we were going to tear it off. That's a given. And we removed all the asbestos and you know, getting ready to even had bids on demolition. What happened in the meantime then, after all the asbestos was taken out, that all of a sudden all of the bids came in and they were $5 million over. So we didn't have enough money to do everything. There's no question about it. So I was wanting to at least pause before we actually tore it down to see where we could spend our money and still do what we want to do. I'm not saying that I don't want it torn down, because it probably needs to be torn down. It has some structural problems, and I was informed that it would be, especially from Steve Walders, that there was a lot of problems there, and our architect also. So it does need to come down, but I wanted to pause until we found out where's our money going to go, and if the worst thing had happened, you could rebuild it back, if we had to, but I was outvoted on that one.
I believe you were the only one who voted no, and it just basically, the way I understand, if I could summarize for you, is that you wanted a plan in place before we just start tearing stuff down.
Absolutely.
Okay. And I understand what you are putting down. So where does that leave us right now going forward with?
Okay. And I've been working with the architects too, because I'm on the building committee. And what now is that they've gone back to regroup. In other words, what can we live with an auditorium? I think the 4 special ed is all by itself. We certainly want to work Tommy TV in, but it's sort of what can we put in the auditorium to make the auditorium still work? We need the stage big enough. We need a pit. We need at least 400 chairs, and we need dressing rooms and changing rooms. We need that. We also obviously have to put a basketball court back, because we just tore it down, or we're going to be tearing it down. So we can't leave the kids without a basketball court. The question is, how many courts can we do, and can we add on? Because we were originally told by the architect that if we lacked money, we could always build the auditorium and build 1 unit of the basketball, and then add on to it later. And that's where we are right now. They're back trying to figure out what we can do. So we'll meet again with the building committee, and probably the board comes to all of those meetings. They're too important for them to miss, and then decide what we could do going forward. What I'm very hopeful for is that they can get at least most of that auditorium back, because once it's built, it's built. You can always add to the sports. You can't add to that, and you can't make the stage bigger after you've already made it. So it's very important that be done right, in my estimation, and that the other pieces be fit in the best they can. And let's hope they can come up with a solution.
And the way I understand it right now, as far as the funding goes, is you were estimating $18 million before the bids officially came back because of inflation.
Yes.
You were hoping to fundraise some of that $18 million, but that also kind of came in a little bit short.
Yeah, we've gotten some. The foundation give us 100. The hospital foundation give us 100. There's several groups in town that are giving money. I've had people call me and said I want to give to the fine arts, and I know that there's a family been involved with the sports complex, and so there's people that are interested in both, of course, and they should be.
Right. Dr. Miser, perhaps give me in about 60 seconds your pitch for why someone should vote for you for the Taylorville School Board of Education.
My name is Ronald Miser, and I'm currently the vice president of the Taylorville School Board. I am asking for your vote on April 4th to continue to provide the best education for our students that our tax dollars will allow. I am working on our building project of an auditorium sports complex. I hope you will allow me the opportunity to see it through to completion. Working with our dedicated teachers and staff has always been something I feel strongly about. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
And lastly, Dr. Miser, what makes you different from other candidates seeking the School Board of Education seat?
Only one thing that is really out there, and that's experience. I've had a lot of experience. Our school board right now has 3 people on there that have only got 2 years experience, and one just 1 year. Rick Bryant had been on before, so he's got some experience, and Tricia Marburger is just serving her 2nd term. So experience. I've seen it. I've seen it all happen over years. I've had experience with 4 different superintendents. They're all different. And so it's experience.
Mm-hmm. Anything else that you'd like to add before you go, Dr. Miser?
No, I just, I hope it's a nice day on the 4th, so we don't have to go out in the rain or anything like that to vote.
I hope that for you as well. That's Dr. Ron Miser. He's the vice president and running for re-election for the Taylorville School Board of Education. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Your stream brought to you by Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark and People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first. You'll find the streams on the TaylorvilleDailyNews.com Facebook or on YouTube when you search WTIM TV.
WTIM.